This just opened up today. Yeah, I got kind of a first-hand look at this. In fact, some people are already coming in to take a look. These are actually not Ferraris behind me. These are some Shelbys, but I'm gonna switch around here and show you the room of Ferraris. These are some beautiful, beautiful cars. I got a kind of a personal tour here. Mary Argusa from the Savoy Automobile Museum. She knows all things Ferrari. And tell me a little bit, and we can walk over here to the cars here, but tell me a little bit about, this is Ferrari in America. I mean, talk to me about the connection here.
Okay, well, this is the foundation of Ferrari coming into the U.S. The oldest car we have is from 1950. We go up to 1979. So if people were coming in expecting to see what is on the market now, that's not what's here. But what you see here is the groundwork that was laid. This is what got Ferrari into America, what got Americans aware of the brand, because it wasn't something that we knew about. Came in initially as far as race car drivings, but then eventually it wound up in people's driveways. So these are the early Ferraris. Probably most people have never seen them. Some of them are very limited edition. For example, this car here, there were only 6 of these made and only 3 in this body style. It was designed by Pininfarina, but it was built by, yeah, I'm dropping the name. But it was hand-built by Vinali, another Italian car builder. Beautifully restored. The people that own this actually drive it, but this is considered probably in the classic Ferraris one of the most beautiful ones that they did.
And this is, I mean, this is 1952. This is not something. This is not what we think of when we think of a Ferrari. We think of that red Testarossa or something. Huh?
Absolutely, and we were even remarking today. If you look at the side of this, it would remind you of a Rolls Royce.
Wow,
has very much that look to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have this one over here. I mean, this is this had a very, very famous owner, huh?
This was actually owned by the Argentinian President Juan Perón, and if people are not familiar with him, just think of Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. Eva Perón was his wife. Now, she had passed before he bought the car. He found it, he saw it actually at a show over in Italy in 1952, wanted one. For some reason, for import reasons, he had to have Ferrari change the chassis number on it. Don't really know what the deal was for that in terms of getting it into Argentina. This was his personal car. He owned it 2 years later. He was exiled. The car sort of just fell into disrepair. Around 1990, someone found it. They restored it. But the people who owned it now also put it through a restoration. And so when you're restoring a car like this, and especially they are going into what we call a concourse level restoration, you're going back to make the car exactly as it was that it came from the factory. So it's to the point that if there was a screw that was there that originally was a Phillips head and you don't have you just have a single slot, you're going to lose points for that. You may have to have parts custom made because the parts don't exist anymore, but you're going back to how the car was originally set up.
And talk about the original. I mean, talk to me a little bit about Mr. Conetti. I mean, the first dealer here.
He met Enzo Ferrari. They were both race car drivers. They both raced for Alfa Romeo. So they knew each other. He came over here in 1940 to race in Indianapolis. Italy went into the Second World War. He elected not to go back. He stayed here. He became a citizen and still considered, was still working in racing. So after the war, he went back over to Italy to see his old friend and said to him, look, why don't you bring race cars over into America? Now, this was in 1946. Ferrari's first official car comes out in 47. And Ferrari said to him, well, if you'll buy 5 of them, I'll make them. And Conetti said, I'll buy 20. Now, he didn't have the money for 20.
Sure.
But he was the first to bring a Ferrari in 1949. Now, initially, it was all about racing. He was the developer of NART, which was the North America race team. Initially, he was still racing. He actually drove, he was known in Le Mans, that he drove 20 of the 24 hours in a race because his co-driver got sick. Wow. And he was also the first person to win Le Mans three times. So his emphasis really was racing, which he brought the cars in for racing, but then the rich and famous saw the cars and they started going into the driveways of very wealthy individuals.
Absolutely, yeah. They went from race cars to cars that people had and drove, and you can come look at these cars. You know, this exhibit goes until March 29th. You know, we kind of start with the 50s back there, and then we come over here. We get a little more modern. This is a 1979 Ferrari.
That's the Koenig.
Koenig special here. So a little more maybe familiar to a little more modern eyes here. But yeah, this exhibit goes until March 29th here at the Savoy Automobile Museum in Cartersville. I am here with Bruce Patton. He's curator here at the museum. How's it going, Bruce?
Doing well. Welcome, Chris.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here.
Great to be here. Well, this is a room full of Ferraris.
Yeah,
and
it's wonderful, isn't it?
I mean, this guy right here, this isn't what I think of when I think of a Ferrari. I mean, talk to me about this one. It had a special owner too, huh?
Yep, sure did. Yeah, so this was owned once by the president of Argentina, Juan Perón, and he owned this car. But ended up getting it back here to the States. Now then, this one's very special. It's actually by Ghia, was a coach builder for this. It's one of one, so it's the only one of this particular model. You know, we decided to do this Ferrari in America and try and celebrate Luigi Conetti Sr., who was a friend of Enzo Ferrari. And what he talked to Enzo about was being the importer for Ferrari here in America. And so we're trying to show some of the older cars that were during the time that Luigi was importing the cars. That's why you see these like 50s and 60s. You know, a lot of times people think, oh, I want to see the supercar Ferraris. Well, we also want people to, you know, recognize, you know, when they first started.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of a history. You know, it started with a racing history before it became a, you know, a fancy car to drive on the road for rich people, huh?
Yeah, and you know, actually, Luigi Conetti, he started NART, so that was the North American racing team for Ferrari. And so that was Luigi who started that here.
And these are all cars, or most of these are cars that he would have imported and sold here in America.
That's correct. Yeah. So, matter of fact, in February, Luigi Conetti Jr. is going to be here talking about his father and being the importer here in the U.S.
Wow, that'll be something to come out and see for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about this one. This one had another special owner too, huh?
It did. So that was the owner was Barbara Woolworth Hutton. Maybe you've heard of that name before, but of the Woolworth fortune. And so this happened to be her car. It's currently on loan from Byron DeFore up in Chattanooga. And Barbara, her fifth husband, I think most people know, was Cary Grant. So this happens to be a 1965 Ferrari Superfast. So this was, I believe this was the most expensive car that Ferrari made during that year.
Wow, so Cary Grant might have taken a ride in this car at some point.
Yeah. So
I mean, that is beautiful.
Yeah, don't you love this body style and the Pininfarina? That's just incredible.
Absolutely. And this one's kind of similar, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, also Pininfarina design, but this is actually 275 GTB. So a little more different design than the 500, but again, still front engine. You know, they were still wanting to keep the engine in the front, and they haven't gone to the mid-engine yet. So this one's a front engine here as well, huh? It is,
Daytona.
yeah.
We've heard the Daytona before.
Of course, yeah. So we got the 71 Daytona. You know, they were, you know, one of the sayings that they said was that the horse does not push the cart, you know, it pulls the cart. So it's kind of funny way of saying that they really wanted the engine in the front. Now the 365, that also was the car that Brock Yates and Dan Gurney drove for the very first winner of the Cannonball Run race that I think a lot of people are familiar with the Cannonball Run. And we actually have that car not in our Ferrari display, but in our Cannonball Run exhibit that's in the Great Hall. And so we actually have the very first winner there.
And for those that don't know, that's a race across the country, huh?
Yeah, so in the 70s, they used to start in New York and go to LA, and they would all leave at the same time. And actually there was a movie, very famous Cannonball Run movie, that was quite similar to kind of what occurred during that drive across America.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you know, all these cars are here. They are on display along with other exhibits here as well that you can come see at the Savoy Automobile Museum in Cartersville. And this will be here through March 29th, end of March. Yep. So, yeah, come on.
Awesome.
Please do.